Lake Avenue Bike Ride by Frank Zeller. This is a value study, and I'm going to use a number 3 value as I'm showing you on the screen. This is how dark all of my colors are going to be when I first start painting. And so the reason I'm doing it that way is because I want a powerful painting, and I like that the light leaves against the sky to show up with a lot of contrast and yet still be in the day. This is the picture that I am following. As you can see, the sky is really light. Well, I'm going to make that a dark brown, not brown, but a dark middle value, number 3. And so I'm just kind of blocking it out. You notice I go right through the building and also through some of the trees. And I'm leaving out some of the white paper for the light yellow trees that I'm going to have as a fall scene when you see the color painting of this. And so I'm blocking with a 1.5 brush, Robert Simmons, with a neutral tint, which makes it into a value, and with water you can judge it as how dark you want it. This is a bicyclist right here, and I want to cut right into the bicyclist. As you can see in the photo, very small, so I just want to leave the light portion of the bicyclist in, and then of course there's the car that I moved from one side of the tree to the other, so I have it inside of the composition more and not towards the edge of the composition. Okay, so what I'm rinsing now, and I'm going to get some more color, but I want it always to be that number 3 value, no matter what. So I'm putting it down on the road, and I'm going to leave a white area inside there, but I'm going to cover that, I believe, when I go up and paint it more further. Okay, now there's the bicycle wheels right there, and the side of his jacket, and a little shadow cutting across, and just sort of looking at the contour of the shadow. The shadow gives you the contour of the land, so if the land drops down, there's a curve there, it also goes down. And so by using the line and the contour of that line, it gives you the shape of the ground. And now you can notice that there's a lot of area that are covered with this middle value. And I'm blocking out now some things I don't think I need. And I think what I'll do is I'll take out that left side right there and just leave it. And that might have been a mistake, but you know, this is why you do the value studies. You do what you want to do, and then what you think you should do, and then you can make corrections on your color work when you start to paint. Now I lift off the wet color on the tape because it'll leak back in. I'm testing to see how close I am to that number 3 value. This chart of values came from a paint shop in town at a hardware store. And so now I'm putting in my dark middle values. As you can see, I blocked in the house. I blocked behind the house. I put up some trees there. Now I'm working on the guy on the bicycle as he's riding. And this starts to give you form in the painting, and also it gives you the shadows that are going across. Now you see the middle value that I painted first was dark. Now you can see by simultaneous contrast it appears to be lighter because of the dark shadows that I put down. Now if I would have made that first value very light, then I'd have really kind of a weak painting. And so you want to be a little bit stronger than you think you should be. And I'm just doing a little bit around that car to see if I can keep it simple, just a simple shape. And And so now I'm going to go ahead and put in the shadows that are coming across, thinking as I'm painting and looking, of course, at the picture and following the contour of the land, so that it just doesn't, it's not all flat, and so that's what, and also the direction of where you put this. Now there's a curve right there. Remember, that was white, and I maybe should have left it there. Now I'll make it a little bit lighter just by putting this value on top, and it'll look like it's lighter. I'm going to put in some other darker values in between the value that I just put down. I like the fracture of light coming through those two trees and then the branches on top, and you have seen that in fall colors, magnificently portrayed. And I'm trying to get that type of lighting in this painting. So I lay my value on the side so I can see what they look like, and now I notice that I wanted to make that road a little darker at the end, and it almost looks like shadows from a lot of branches and leaves, which I like because it changes the thing. And then I'm going to now put my darkest dark on this, and you can see now that dark that was dark on the building has become lighter. And this is sort of I can't remember what the style of frame that is of the house, but it's got these slats of wood and so forth that are really kind of neat. It's kind of a real big house. It's right on the White Bear Lake Avenue. That's where this particular house is. And so I squint. You can see the picture up there where I am looking at the darks that I see in that photo, and I've got another pine tree right alongside there. That shows off one pine tree, and then instead of making a trunk or all the way down with the pine tree, I'm going to just make a line. And when I make that line coming down, you can see now that there's bushes behind that, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then I'll just keep putting in these dark, absolutely little accents here and there, squinting at all times at the photograph when I'm painting this. Get that just a little darker along his side up there, just so that the head is right on top. The stroke that's behind the head, I'll have to alter that because it looks like the head is real large, and it really isn't. It's just a little speck of the white. And so I'm just going to put some more down. A little bit of shadow here. There's a tree that comes up there. There's another little shadow. Now these are just little leaves that are just sort of filtering along with that. It's going to be a bright blue sky up there and bright yellow-orange trees, and it's going to be a red car. And I'll just put some little marks for tires. You can see the more you do on this, the more it becomes a painting, a scene. At first it looks like a mess, and that's what all paintings go through, and then they start to develop their own clarity by placing these values and lines. And so we got a few of those coming up. That's a nice big maple tree, and so then I think what I'll do is I'll take that, put another value on right underneath where the land is, and go up the side, take out some of that white, a little bit of shadow there, and then a few lines to indicate that there is a division between the street, the pavement, and that type of thing. And there's a sidewalk where bikers walk down. This is still wet and down in the lower part, which is nice because you know shadows are really soft when they're up close to you, and they are a little hard edge when they get further away. Now what I'm doing is I'm squinting and seeing where I don't want it all white. And so I'm using a dry brush sort of effect, make it a little bit lighter than that, and going over the white areas as a dry brush, which shows the texture of the paper. Just keep adding a little bit darker and darker here and there, because that first coat of paint is holding all this detail. It's like a coat rack. It's holding it all in place. So that first passage of color and value is very, very important. Fill little accents on the chimney that's up there. Now you don't want to go too far with it because you can overwork it. And it's just a sketch, just to get an idea of where your lights and darks are, where your objects are placed in the composition. Well, thank you for watching this video. This is the picture that I've been using. You can see the lights and darks kind of across the road. And then we'll remove the picture. You'll be able to see sort of that fractured light. Now I darken the sky, which I intentionally wanted to do, and hopefully now the painting will be okay. Thank you for watching.